We are through the looking glass now, people. Despite 14th and 15th or wherever the heck Manchester United and Tottenham lie in the Premier League table, there is a chance that one of them can end the season having had a very good season. A European trophy, a quite disrespected European trophy in the Europa League. I think it's a good trophy to win. And Champions League football, which is huge. It brings money, prestige, players, as in attractiveness as a club. It's the holy promised land, and two clubs in Tottenham and Man United can reach said promised land despite being in the nadir, the final boss, the potency of their banter era. I mean, my club, we are entering said banter era. Like, Chelsea could have a worse season than either of these clubs, which is crazy. But I'm not here to talk about Chelsea, of course, because this isn't a Chelsea channel. And Man United, I did react to that insane comeback they had in the quarter-final at home against Lyon. One of the most incredible finishes to a game ever, you must say. And if you want my reaction to that game, and I do take you through it, as in the timeline and how insane that was, do go check it out. It's my previous upload. But I want to talk a little bit more about the sort of what it would mean for both Man United and Tottenham to win this trophy. We will start with Man United, then go into Spurs. By the way, guys, thank you for all the continued support. Is that too loud, that widget? I wonder if it is. Maybe not. Thank you for your continued support here on the channel. Thank you for liking and subscribing to Football Yannick. Daily content here, mate. So why don't you join the fun, yeah? Thank you. Right, look, Manchester United, I must say, both Spurs and United, I'm a Chelsea fan in my mid-30s. I've passed the 30, I'm 36 now. So for different reasons, I don't like both clubs. But I must say, there was something that just in terms of the game, the theatre, in the theatre of dreams, I found myself getting behind with Man United. Of course, it's hilarious watching them lose, and it would have been great fun, yada, yada, yada. But just because they've been in the trenches, you know, just the freaking narrative of like Harry Maguire, the centre-back playing striker again, with this like progressive young coach trying to implement a new system, style, formation and philosophy, is literally chucking a young diminutive central midfielder up as a striker in Mainu, and big slabhead up there and chucking crosses into the box. And it worked. And all the Man United fans that had left the stadium were trying to flock back in. Understandably, right? And understandably, them leaving, like, I get it. It's not like this United side have been inspiring great comeback confidence of late. And I find myself happy for Ruben Amorim, who looked like the most miserable man in the whole of the United Kingdom, let alone Manchester. Of course, was having a lovely time out in Sporting Club de Portugal, and then joined the theatre of nightmares, and it's been an absolute, fever dream ever since. I've kind of maintained my position. I do think it could work for Ruben. Obviously, the fans have been really great with him, despite, them being really, really poor. They've been singing his name. I think a lot of the Manchester United fans that attend games realise the situation, and realise it's not really on him so much, and he's been thrown into this chaos. So that's really, impressive from the Man United fans. But I do think, you get him, like, if they win the Europa League, he gets that trophy. I still think when Mason Mount's fully fit and firing, he's perfect for that system. He's shown he could be really useful. They buy a decent striker that can convert chances. They keep Bruno happy. They just find good wing-backs that can be really, really effective in that system. He could be the guy for them, and it could work. I've done loads of videos on this. Again, I've been consistent. I don't think a three-back system is going to win the Premier League in the current landscape, but I think it can take him out of the echelons of banter era to a top six side, personally, and that's obviously massive for them. That's just my opinion. And you've got to say, and this is the nadir for Man United, the worst, the terrible time, and they could have, through this Ten Hag era that's been banter, and Amorim, he himself, I don't think is like a banter manager at all, But they could, these 3 terrible years, they could win 3 trophies consecutively, yearly. It could be massive, and I do think they could genuinely do it. Of course, there's Athletic. They've got to get past Athletic Club, Bilbao. They're a good team, but if they get past them, I kind of back Man United to win it, of course. And the other side, there's Tottenham. So, better speak about Tottenham. I mean, what? Ange Postecoglou, bro. I've been speaking about him recently. I loved him as a guy, not as a sort of opposition rival manager. Obviously, he's Tottenham manager, but I just thought he was funny. I always said he looks like some geezer who's come around to fix your boiler and you can have a beer with, and I love that in the Premier League. And then he just turned into this like petulant, moody teenager that always had excuses, and even if he had a few excuses, just like take some responsibility. He completely absolved himself of all responsibility of Tottenham's immense failings. And it's a really tough situation for Tottenham fans because they got a great stadium, they got great training facilities, they're really well run financially. But, again, this is a video that I've done a couple of days ago, speaking about how Tottenham fans are almost being gaslit in many ways about how good their institution is, It would be, as much as I would hate it as a Chelsea fan, for Tottenham to win a trophy, first in decades or whatever, European trophy. Again, I think they have a European trophy somewhere in the basement from a different time. But there would be something funny about it. For Ange, for all he said, he started so well in his first season, and then it was sort of terrible for like over a year. Like, it's crazy for how long they've been bad for. And if he wins the Europa League, qualifies for the Champions League, after giving it the big one for so long, saying, I always win a trophy in my second season, and everyone's just thinking, well, you won't, mate, because look what's happening. There's just no way. Your team's terrible. You're getting slapped up all the time. You're staring at your feet every time you get a microphone put in your face. Your fans are, protesting against the ownership, and lots of fans are asking for you to leave. I mean, they could do it as well. Of course, they got past Eintracht Frankfurt, who haven't been the same since selling Omar Marmoush to Manchester City, even if they've got good players like, Ugo Ekitike and stuff like that. They've not been the same, so they squeaked past them. They've obviously got Bodo Glimt. They could definitely get to the final, and we're at a point now where we can have an all Premier League Europa League final. And again, as a rival fan, you'd be like, oh, can't they both lose? But I tell you what, boy oh boy, it would be compelling if it comes down to Man United versus Tottenham in the Europa League final. I mean, personally, I'd just be backing Man United in that, not because I just want them to win, but in terms of who I think can win. I think Tottenham's just inability to go over the line and win trophies and their DNA would shine through. But imagine if Tottenham won. Obviously, it would be, for non-Tottenham fans, it would be the worst. But for Man United fans, if you granted Tottenham that first trophy in ages, and not just that, not only you putting Tottenham, you're breaking the Tottenham curse, which everybody enjoys, you are screwed. Like, Man United are screwed. They saved their season last night. It wasn't last night, wasn't it? Yeah. In 120, they scored 2 goals in a matter of seconds at the end of extra time to save their season. To get that, and then obviously they'd have to get past Athletic Club. Very, very good team. Be a great achievement over two games. Genuinely would be, all things considered, it would be a really great achievement to get past two games of them, to get to the final and lose to Tottenham. Oh my God. That would be the most potent, harrowing fever dream for anyone affiliated with Manchester United. But it's really, really interesting. Of course, the Champions League's interesting. It's heating up. The race for European spots in the Premier League's really interesting. And indeed the Europa League. I would say the conference, but I'd be lying to all of you. So I'm not going to talk about the conference. But anyway, I wanted to react. Let me know your thoughts, guys. As always, thank you so much for joining me. Do consider supporting the content by liking and subscribing. If you choose to subscribe, hit that all-important bell notifications icon so you get notified when I upload. Alright, mate, take care of yourselves. Enjoy the football if you can. Peace.